If you walked outside this morning and your garden is already starting to feel a little bit fried or baked in this summer heat and this drought we are going through, then you are not alone. The June heat is here and the humidity is right there with it, and it is incredibly tempting to just say, pack it all up and I'll see you again in October for your garden. But our gardens still have so much left to give throughout this summer heat. There are some incredibly tough garden plants that you can still add to your garden to help to keep your soil happy and flourishing throughout the summer heat and still give you a harvest. Today we'll talk about my favorite 10 plants that you can still get into the ground this June for your Florida garden that is going to survive the heat and also help your soil to be even better for your planting come this fall. Before we dive into it, I have a favor to ask you. If you have any North Florida garden friends or Florida gardening friends in general, please share this video with them. That's the only way that our channel grows and we get to talk to more people just like you. So if you find this information helpful, make sure you give it a like and share it with your garden buddy. All right, let's get into it. Starting us off, we have our okra. Okra has an incredibly long taproot on it, and it does not like to be transplanted. So it can be tempting to start those seeds inside and transplant your plant out instead of the seed, but okra does not love that and it will not do as well. You can put those seeds right into the ground now, make sure they stay moist, and you will have a giant plant that not only gives shade to your soil, but is a prolific producer. If you've been following along with our channel so far, you know that okra is a learn to love food for our family. A lot of you commented on the last video and gave me some great ideas for how to use that okra or try it in new ways. We're currently trying some okra water with our most recent harvest, so I'll let you all know how that goes. Let me know if you have any other favorite okra tips or okra recipes in the comments and we'll give them a try. Coming in at number 2 is actually an incredible garden hack if you're seeing some spots in your garden that are just totally baked. I have a few of them over there right now. Just plant some southern peas or some black-eyed peas in those spaces. They love the Florida heat. You don't really have to do anything to them for them to grow, and they give your soil that living root, but they also produce the shade for your soil. We love black-eyed peas around here, so we do eat the beans, but even if you don't, it's very worth putting into your garden to protect your soil from that summer heat to better boost your fall harvest. We know that beans also help to fix nitrogen into the soil. You can turn those plants back over into the soil before they produce all of those beans to truly get that nitrogen fix. Coming in at number 3 is a new plant for me this year, Roselle. I had a really hard time sourcing transplants or seeds locally here, so I ended up buying some Roselle seeds online. I'll link the exact ones in the description. I have probably about 7 or 8 Roselle plants growing right now throughout the garden. They provide great shade similar to okra, and they're also a prolific producer. Okra and Roselle are in the same hibiscus family, so their flowers look similar. With Roselle in the fall, they make these bright red pods that you can pluck and either turn into like a Roselle tea, which is supposed to have higher antioxidants than a green tea, or you can make it into a jam that is supposed to taste like a cranberry jam. And most importantly, it is something that loves the Florida heat down here, which can be tough to find, so give it a try. Number 4 is one of my absolute favorite things to grow in my garden, sweet potatoes. I've tried a lot of different methods for growing sweet potatoes. What I have found that has worked absolutely best for me is to actually root those sweet potato slips in water to develop that root system and then plant those over into the garden themselves. In the past, when I have tried to just plant a sweet potato that's sprouting, I haven't gotten as large of a harvest because that sweet potato has to make a vine, and the roots that come off of that vine are what will actually make the new sweet potatoes. So it takes a little bit longer than just rooting the sweet potato slip in water and planting that into the ground. I have lots of sweet potatoes growing throughout the garden here, so what I do when the vines get pretty long is I just snip the vines where I can see the new nodes coming up and put those in water. Once those are rooted, I plant them anywhere in my garden that I feel like needs a little bit more ground cover, and also in a spot that I don't mind being totally ripped up come the fall time when it's time for harvest. So you may not want to plant your sweet potatoes underneath a plant that's going to be a perennial like some of your herbs. Moving on to number 5, one of the easiest things that you can do as a gardener is to have your own spice rack right outside. The number 5 plant I would recommend that everybody plants this June is rosemary. Rosemary loves the dry, sandy soil, and while it may take a little bit of extra care or shade from the sun to get started in June from a transplant, once it's established, it's absolutely a low maintenance plant. Currently, I have so much rosemary that I just give it away, and I feel like I still have too much. My jars are full of it. I have probably 5+ plants in the ground now from cuttings that I've made. It is truly abundant, and one of the greatest gifts I feel like in the garden is being able to share with others. If you have a rosemary plant, you will definitely be able to do that. Coming in at number 6 to plant in our Florida gardens this June is oregano. Much like rosemary, once oregano is established, it's very low care. I pretty much cut mine down to very small a few times a year, and I dry that oregano and keep it in jars. And it prefers well draining soil, so it's a great addition for the corners of your garden beds, so it can go into a bush and it can flow over the edges. A little bonus, my 2 favorite non-traditional recipes to use oregano in is actually homemade taco seasoning and a cucumber feta tomato salad. Number 7 is one of my favorite herbs in the garden, basil. I plant basil everywhere. I just broadcast sow a few seeds under some of the plants that are taller or that I know will be growing taller, like my cucumbers or my sweet potatoes. It gives them some filtered sunlight so the basil can still grow, but it also doesn't bolt in the summer like it would if it was in full sun. So I would argue, instead of planting basil in a standalone spot in your garden or a standalone pot on your patio where it can get really hot and dried out, just plant some basil under the understory of any of the tall plants or trees that you already have growing. And don't worry if you only harvest a few leaves at a time, pop them right into a freezer bag, and then you can make fresh pesto anytime you want throughout the year. If you do prefer to have your basil in a separate pot, it's recommended that you switch to like a lemon basil or a Thai basil for the summer, because those varieties are more heat tolerant. Number 8 is what some gardeners absolutely steer clear from. It is mint. I do have mint in my garden, but it is in a standalone pot buried down into my garden. If you were to look at it from the top, you would just be able to see the mint, and only when you dig down do you see that there's a pot going around it. Mint is incredibly hard to completely eradicate once it gets going in the soil. That's a good thing for our hot Florida soils because it's incredibly durable. It will tolerate pretty much any conditions, including you trying to rip it out and kill it. So mint is a really great addition to the summer garden, especially to make some summer drinks like some cucumber mint water or a watermelon mint salad, or even some summertime mojitos. And we can't talk about having a vegetable garden without including our pollinator flowers. They're incredibly important to support all of our pollinators, but they're also important as a natural pest defense and a well-rounded garden ecosystem. 2 of my absolute favorites that tolerate the neglect that I give them when I'm focusing on all of the other things in my life is sunflowers and marigolds. Sunflowers are just the most beautiful plant. If you have never grown them, watching them grow so tall and eventually open up into these bursts of colors is truly phenomenal. My son last year, we had some giant sunflowers growing over here, and he liked to call them the king of our garden, which was a pretty accurate point because we were all so proud of these massive sunflowers. I also love that some varieties of seeds are edible, but even if you don't eat the seeds, you can save all of the seeds from your sunflowers to plant for the next year. And finally, number 10 is a flower that has completely surprised me since I've been down here. It is marigold. Marigolds are incredibly resilient pretty much all year round, except for when we get that frost. So I will just broadcast sow some marigold seeds and let them do their thing. I don't focus on specifically watering them aside from watering the rest of the garden, and they thrive. They come in all different sizes and a bunch of different colors, and all of them at the end will make their own little seed pods that you just grab and crinkle up and spread again whenever you want the next batch of marigolds to start growing. Along with having marigolds on my borders and in some of my beds, I also planted marigolds in 3 pots that are in direct sun all day long this year because they have been so heat tolerant for me in the past. And let me tell you, even though those pots get so hot in the sun all day long, they are doing the best out of all of my plants that are in full sun, whether they're in the garden beds or in a pot right now. So they are truly, truly incredibly resilient when it comes to the heat down here, and they will continue to give beautiful bursts of color all throughout the year until you get that first frost. Now, while we have the garden beds covered outside with these 10 heat-loving crops for June, now is the time that we're actually thinking about our fall garden. We can already be starting our tomato seeds and our pepper seeds inside for transplanting out in July or August. Personally, with this year's expected higher temperatures and our current drought conditions, I am going to start a lot of tomatoes and peppers and maybe even some late Roselle inside for this year, with the plan of bringing them outside once the conditions are right. But my hope is that I can bring out a bigger and stronger plant this year than I typically would have in the past, because I think we're going to be facing some more challenging conditions come August. I did a lot of research when it came to what grow light I wanted to buy inside. I'll link the one below that I ended up buying for my previous seasons of starting seeds. I was very happy with it, and I plan to use the same thing this year. Also, if you want to know what tomato varieties can handle our brutal Florida summers and early falls, I have every single tomato variety that's recommended for Florida listed in my Ultimate Tomato Growing Guide. All of the tomatoes recommended in this guide are the ones that have been recommended from the UF Extension office. So before you waste your time or your money on buying your new tomato seeds, starting those transplants, and moving them outside, make sure you check the guide and compare your varieties so you buy the right kind. That's it for today. If you found this June video helpful, make sure you share it with your favorite garden buddy so we can continue to grow our garden community. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave a comment down below to tell me what of these 10 crops you are already growing or planning to put into the ground this month.